talking to no one, this fella.
Welcome racing enthusiasts, and welcome to another show of Racing in Queensland. What a great show we've got coming up over the course of the half an hour. And joining me on the panel is three-time premiership winning jockey and Brisbane premiership winning jockey Larry Cassidy and Priscilla Smith. Welcome, Larry.
Thanks, Jess, and welcome back yourself.
Yeah, no, it's great to be back, and you did a great job last week taking over in the saddle, and great effort.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Do you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was a little bit nerve-wracking, but I think there was a couple of awkward pauses, but we got through it all right.
And Priscilla, welcome. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, Jess.
All right, now let's get into it. Before we get into previewing the great racing carnival over at Doomben on Saturday, we're going to have a look at the dash highlights in the Jockey Challenge. Now, Larry, Jim Byrne last week, 14.8. Yourself, what did you run? 17?
17.1. Yes. Yeah, I've got a terrible action though, Jess. I've got knees that have been operated on. But then again, Jim, he did have that streamlined suit on. I think that was a big help. He looked like the great white hope, that horse of Matty Dunn's, didn't he?
He did. He didn't run accordingly though.
He's run a good time, 14.8 seconds.
You know, we've got the final coming up at the end of the season, so stay with us over the course of the show. But coming up now, we're going to have the preview of the highlights of the jockeys running down the challenge. And later on in the show, we've got Fine Cotton. So let's go to the highlights.
Get into all the betting action with TatsBet. Go online. Call 13 19 39. Use the smartphone app or visit your local TAB. TatsBet. More action, more places.
Well, Larry, every time I look at that piece of you running down the straight there, you look like a cripple, mate.
You know what? You should be me waking up when I first get out of bed. It takes me about 10 steps before I can get motivated. The old knees aren't the same.
I tell you, well, coming up later on in the season, we'll have the final, and I'll tell you, Rick McMahon, he hasn't run the fastest time, but I tell you what, he looks like he's in good form there. He's got some action on him.
Yeah, I've been back in Ash Butler myself.
Yeah, no, right. Well, first of all, another congratulations to Melissa Hughes on winning Question of the Week last week with Who is the Sire of Lucky Grey, and the correct answer there was Bradbury's Luck. And also coming up, we've got another Question of the Week coming up later on in the show, so stay with us. But right now we're going to preview the first leg of the quaddie, race 5, over the 1350. A very tricky and open race here. And Priscilla, what have you come up with here?
Yeah, these races, Jess, are always hard. There's no Metro 1350s. It's generally whatever gets the easiest run in the race generally wins. So I've gone with the 10, Thirsty for Blood on top. Wiggins to ride with the Rob Heathcote camp. They're flying that stable and only beaten a length and a half on a Saturday 2 starts ago in town. So if we can produce something like that, we'll be right in the money. For second, I've got the 8 White Sours. Brett Dodson is a very good trainer on the north coast from Coffs Harbour, and he doesn't come to town for a look around. At race in Newcastle last start, was only beaten a couple of lengths, carried the 58 after the claim and was 3 deep. So he doesn't come to town for nothing. For third, I've put in the 13 Not to Share. Sea Months to Ride from a good alley with 54. And for fourth, I've put in the 11 Calculation, sorry. Back from the 1350. Larry, you rode this horse last start. What was your thoughts on his run?
Yeah, Priscilla, his run was all right. Back from 1600 at Doom and back to the 1350. Probably suit him better. If hopefully there's going to be some speed on, and that'll give him a chance to finish the race off.
Now, also, Larry, you're riding Brooklyn Tiara. It's drawn the 1357. Big call.
Yeah, she's won her last two at the Gold Coast and at Doomben, but obviously it's a pretty open race, and again, she's going to need some speed on. I'm going to have to ride her quiet, and we're going to need a bit of luck.
Yeah, now myself, I've come up with requested here. It has drawn the 14. Like Priscilla said, it's the horse that's going to have the best run in the race. I just think that this horse might get to the lead. There is a bit of pace on, but it might get to the lead, and hopefully with a bit of luck get a cushy run in front. I'll put it on top. I think number 12, Mini Delago, from barrier 10 with Glenn Collis. You know, again, this horse has come from Lismore. It's raced well down in Ballina, and last start, previous fourth behind Perfectress. Number 7, Merjahu with Timothy Bell on board, and number 2, Larry's Mount Brooklyn Tiara. I think so. 4, 12, 7 and 2. But again, a very tricky race, and anything could win it. Now, I had an interview here with the youngest member of Parliament at the races here with Wyatt Roy. Quite an interesting little character. He's only 21, and there's big plans for him in federal Parliament, but he also enjoys his racing. Joining me is the federal member for Longman, Wyatt Roy, the youngest member of federal Parliament. Welcome to racing in Queensland.
G'day mate, thanks for having me on.
It's great to have you on board. Now, being the youngest member of Parliament, the first thing is, what are you doing at the races?
I'm having a good day. I'm getting some brownie points with my girlfriend. As you can imagine, my job can be pretty taxing on the people around me, and I need to get back some of that support. So I'm just trying to enjoy life, and we're better than at the race course in beautiful Queensland.
Now, you've just signed up to the Young Members Association. How does it feel?
It's good. I think it's great to see young people coming out and having some fun, enjoying the really good social atmosphere that we have here, and just generally having a good day out at the races.
Well, hopefully you found some young voters to vote for you.
Well, we'll see. You know, I often find sometimes forcing it down people's throat doesn't work, but you know, if I can have a bit of fun out here, I think that's a great thing, and it is a good thing for Queensland. The racing industry does a huge amount in terms of giving back to our community, and it's great to be part of that.
Now, being so young, where did the inspiration to become a politician?
Well, I never came from a political background. I wanted to do other things in life, but ultimately this is where you can make a difference in people's lives. And I know that's a bit of a cliche, but this is where hopefully I can help change people's lives for the better, and I'd really like to be part of that positive change.
Well, Wyatt, it's been a pleasure having you on the show, and I'm sure you'll do plenty for your electorate, Longman, and all the best for the future.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me on.
Get into all the betting action with TatsBet. Go online. Call 13 19 39. Use the smartphone app or visit your local TAB. TatsBet. More action, more places. A very interesting character there, Wyatt Roy, and there's big things for him ahead in Parliament. Now, more importantly, race 6, the second leg of the quaddie. Priscilla, what have you come up with?
I've come up with the one Azalando, though he hasn't raced for 602 days, I think.
How long?
2
years.
Yeah, you may laugh at me there, Jess, but look, he's had 2 trials and he's won them both, but he's only got to produce half as good as that form behind Burdekin Blues and buffering, and he's drawn well, he's got the claim off, it gets him in 58 and a half. If he's fit enough, well, I think personally he's only got to be half right to beat these, but I think he'll be right on the money. Yeah. For second, I've got him 2, whenever. She was flying before she went to Melbourne. She went to Melbourne, she produced probably career best form for a win in the Group 3 at Caulfield. For third, I put in 6, Signified. Probably got to forget his last start run. He was caught a little bit deep and he was only beaten 3.5 lengths. There was no money for him that day, and that indicates that he probably wasn't spot on because it's quite a big betting stable, the Kelso Wood stable. And for fourth, I put in Delago Bolt, yet to place here at Doomben, but his form's been good across the road.
Yeah, no, it's a it's quite a good type of race here. And Larry, you don't have a ride in the race, but if you were to have a ride, who would you be riding?
Actually, I'm riding the 5th hole, Jess.
Are you?
Yep.
Oh, there you go. That's how much I know.
He's a horse I won a few races on. He loves to sail along in front. He won first up at the Gold Coast and led them a merry chase down there. He's going to again probably jump and run to the lead, and if we can, I'll let him run along early, and if we can get a couple of easy sectionals somewhere, from the 800 to the 600.
I'll bring the winning post 100 metres closer for you.
It'd probably be better 100 metres further away for him, because he's probably better 1200 or 1400.
Okay.
But I think he's going to look the winner somewhere at the 300 metre mark. It's just whether he can hold on.
Yeah, just whether he's up to the class. I must admit, I don't know. Here I'm sticking with one called Signified. Here again, I'm backing up from the Kelso Wood stable. There was no money for this horse last week, was there? The previous start. I was just having a talk to Priscilla about this horse. It's owned by a mate of mine, Tim Williams, and they're quietly confident. And this horse has had 17 starts for 7 wins, so I'm putting it on top. It is a horse on the improve. As mentioned by Priscilla here, Azaland hasn't had a race for 602 days. Now, this horse has got great form. Third behind Buffering, only beaten 3 lengths. I mean, that form's good enough to win any sort of this type of race very easily. So I'm putting him in for second, whether he's right or not. I like Gundy's Son for third, and number 4, G'day Old Mate. But again, a very tricky race, and one that I'm quietly confident on Signified here each way. Now, Larry, you've ridden against Signified and a number of these horses. What type of horses does it take to win this sort of race?
Well, it depends how the race is run. There's a few speedy horses in it. Obviously, my horse, so we're going to go pretty quick early. So, a horse that can sort of park himself on the speed and have a good high cruising speed, and then be able to finish off. And I know Aslan, like he's a class horse, and if he's fit, he probably is the one to beat.
Yeah, no, I think there could be something there. We'll just wait and see if there's money for Azalan, well worth following. Now, the story of the week, again, when I was over in Germany, I'm just back here from over there, and I was at the Sensheim at the Autotechnic Museum, and I did a little story here on the Jew 252 for a bit of entertainment.
Jew 52 is a very typical commercial aeroplane of the 30s, and it was used for commercial purposes for airlines by airlines like the Lufthansa. And when the Second World War started, it became symbolic for Hitler, because he used it to deplace with this aeroplane. And also the Wehrmacht, the German army, during the Second World War used it for paratroopers and for ordinary army purposes also. And it was a very stable airplane and very well known for this. Even after the Second World War, when this plane was very old-fashioned, some air companies in different parts of the world still used it for a couple of decades.
As you can see here from the dint in the plane, it's had a somewhat unusual or a hard landing. So it's a very durable plane. Thinner aluminium.
So it could be built lighter.
So it could be built lighter. And here we are. This is coming into the cockpit of the Jew
52.
52.
Tantiu, we call it.
The Tantiu.
Yeah.
Get into all the betting action with TatsBet. Go online. Call 13 19 39. Use the smartphone app or visit your local TAB. TatsBet. More action, more places.
You know, a very interesting plane, the Jew 52, and if you're ever in Germany, it's a place called Sensheim, the Autotechnic Museum, a very interesting museum. They have all the Formula Ones from Michael Schumacher's Formula One, and all the old cars down there as well, and the old fighter planes, and the Concorde, as you saw earlier on in one of the previous shows. So well worth getting out to Sensheim in Germany if you're ever out there. And wie geht's? Gut, danke, danke, oh dear, very beautiful place. Now, let's get into it, the third leg of the quaddie. Priscilla, what have you come up with?
Yeah, the main race of the day, Jess, and it'll be an interesting run race. But I'm with Morning Captain. I think his run last start in the George Moore Group 3 was an absolute outstanding run, and I think he steps to the 1350 at Doomben, and he loves Doomben. He's two-time winner at the track and distance, and I think if he'll probably go forward and hopefully get a nice run, and I think he'll be right there in the finish. Like, you go back 2 starts ago when he got flattened, I think they give him nearly a month off between runs, and they've got him right. So if he can produce at that last start run, he'll be right there in the money. And then I've gone for second, Starts Me Up, which was the winner of the George Moore Stakes. Running super race, come back first up. Gillian's got this horse flying, loves the track, loves the distance. I think it's interesting that Brad Stewart's jumped off Starts Me Up to ride Steel Zip here, which is my third pick. This horse also resumed with the win. It's got the one alley, a horse who's come back in super form and I think head towards the millions. And for fourth, I've gone with Feeling Ready. Look, we say every time he goes around that he hasn't won since the slipper, but he looks super last start and he's run accordingly. I think the only query is that he's had 5 goes at Doomben and he's yet to produce anything.
You know, I've got my doubts about Feeling Ready. How could you come into him 34 starts for 2 wins and very hard. Larry, this is the race you don't have a ride in.
This is the race I don't have a ride in.
Now, if you didn't have a ride in it, who would you be riding?
Look, I like Steel Zip. I think Pat's got him going really well, and I think the horse has come back really well. And he's actually a very underrated horse, and whether Brad has just stuck with the stable or had the choice, I'd like to be on Steel Zip.
You know, now myself here, I'm sticking with, I'm agreeing with Priscilla here on Morning Captain from the Kelly Dougherty stable. This horse, as mentioned by Priscilla, this horse has got a lot going for it. I do think it is the horse with a lot of potential, a lot of upside on this horse. Now, when it won at Doomben on the 27th of October, I was very impressed by this horse. It picked up in the last 50 metres and extended very well. I think the start after it just wasn't quite right, didn't quite have the run. Again, third behind Starts Me Up. I just think that this horse is great value and I'm going to have a bit of a crack at it. It has drawn the 9, but it does get back, so I'm not too worried about that. And at Doomben, it's had 3 starts at the distance for 2 wins. And at the track, it's had 7 starts for 3 wins and 3 seconds. So it obviously thrives at Doomben, as you mentioned, Priscilla. Number 2, Starts Me Up now. Larry, we were just chatting prior to the show that this horse was possibly going to change stables from Gillian Heinrichs to Bruce Hills. It hasn't. It's remained at Gillian Heinrichs. Do you know much about it, or is there much?
No, look. Obviously, there was a lot written about it. That obviously Bruce Hill had the horse in the beginning, and then went to Gillian's, and apparently the owner was wanting to swap back again, but the horse come out and won, and all's well that ends well, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it does. It ends. Now, all right. Now we're going to have a preview of Back to the Track, where we're going to have a look at 3 yearlings from the catalogue of the Magic Millions, and one of the first lots we're going to look at is Lot 3. Now this horse is by Manhattan Rain out of Licata Point from the Eliza Park stud, which was the old race tree out at Rathdowney, and we're going to take a look at this yearling now.
Lot 3, on account of Eliza Park as agent for Race Tree, is the bay colt by Manhattan Rain from Licata Point. From the first crop of the Group 1 winning 2-year-old Manhattan Rain. This colt is from Licata Point, whose only foal to race has been placed. Licata Point is a half-sister to 3 stakes horses, including Hilfer, who is a listed stakes winner, and the Dam of Walk with Attitude, a listed stakes winner this season. Lot 3, a bay colt by Manhattan Rain from Licata Point.
One by Testarossa out of Moonlight Shadow. There's a bit of mayhem going on here in the studio. People going left, right, centre. Now, this horse here is a bay colt. It's by Testarossa out of Moonlight Shadow, again from the Eliza Park stud farm. This is a lovely walking individual, very precocious type, and it looks like it'll bring some money. So we just have a look at this colt now. Lot 91.
91, on account of Eliza Parker's agent for Race Tree, is the bay colt by Testarossa from Moonlight Shadow. By the highly successful Group 1 sire Testarossa, this colt is from Moonlight Shadow, who is a 2-year-old Metropolitan winner of 6 races. Moonlight Shadow is a daughter of Crestfallen, who is a Group 3 Place City winner, and a half-sister to the dam of the Group 2 winner Dusty Star. Lot 91, a bay colt by Testarossa from Moonlight Shadow.
Nice looking colt. And another one we're going to look at here is in session 5. Now, don't be discarded from yearlings out of session 5. A number of these horses have gone on to win the Magic Millions. They are very good value. You can get good value from here. this horse. You could pick it up for about 20,000-30,000, I reckon, and I think it'd be a great buy. It's a lovely walking individual, very correct, and it's got good attitude, and it displayed that. We're just going to have a look now at lot 834 by Testarossa, a Bay filly.
Lot 834, on account of Eliza Park as agent for Grandview, is the Bay filly by Testarossa from Dim Sim. By the highly successful Group 1 sire Testarossa. This filly is from Dim Sim, who is the dam of 2 winners, including a city winner. Dim Sim is a sister to the dam of the dual Group 1 winner Purple, and a 3/4 sister to the dam of the Group 2 winner Forum. Dim Sim is also a half sister to Group 3 winner Estimable. Lot 834, a Bay filly by Testarossa from Dim Sim.
All right, now, Priscilla, have you ever been to the Magic Million sales?
Yes, I have, Jess. I've been lucky enough to, I actually strapped a few yearlings a couple of years ago, so they're a little bit feral, but as they are.
Yeah, no, I'll be down at the sales. It's a great day at the Magic Millions complex, and it's great to go to the races, and straight after the races is the sales. Now yourself, Larry, have you ridden a Magic Millions winner?
No, I run second on Not a Single Doubt, who obviously stands now at stud. And
he stands at Arrowfield, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah, no, a lovely individual and been very successful at stud, Not a Single Doubt, along with his Arrowfield companions, the most notably Redout's Choice, he's heading over to France to stand as a shuttle too, so he's going to be doing a bit of travelling back and forth, Redout's Choice, over the stakes. Now, race 8, the last leg of the quaddie. Priscilla, what have you come up with?
I think I've found a special here, Jess.
Oh, special, look out.
I'm with the Desley Foster train. I'm Cool. This horse had an excellent record in his first preparation, 4 starts for 3 wins and a second, and just keeps stepping to the mark. Everything she throws at him, he just steps up. So he's only got the 54 with Mick Carr to ride from a good barrier, so I think he'll be getting the cash there. For second, I put in 9 Spinro. This horse ran a really good second last start. Chris Muntz goes aboard today and was previously trained down south and has come up here and finally found a bit of form. For third, I've put in 6 Longshoreman, won that race last start, and I would hate to know his final to know his final sectionals because he settled back and he really hit the line hard. And for fourth, I've put in Commandant, drawn very awkwardly out there in the 16, got all the favours last start from barrier 1, but continues to run well. Laurie's obviously got this horse flying at the moment. Yeah,
you just spoke about number 6 there, Longshoreman. He did run 6 behind How Much Do You Love Me? Very potentially a very good horse, as known, a bit of trouble down there in Melbourne with the tubing and everything, but a horse that's got a lot of potential and Now, Larry, you're riding number 12 here, Run With Me. It's first up. It's got great first up form. You've drawn the 8. It's well in at 54 on the weights. Have you ridden this horse previously?
No, I haven't, Jess. From the Trevor Whittington stable. Trevor is a very astute trainer, and he's a Kiwi like myself.
Is
he? He's a good judge.
Where's he from?
He's from the Hawke's Bay region. Good wine country too. So,
is it? Where's that?
It's sort of in the North Island, about midway up.
Okay.
This horse, I've seen this. I've never ridden him before, but I've seen him race a few times, and he's a horse that looks like he's got really good potential. And I'd be thinking he'd run a nice race. You know,
I've put him in for second. I disagree with Priscilla here. I don't think I'm Cool's a special. I don't think it'll win. I found one myself here, number 14, Royal Shout, with Paul Hammersley on board. I like it on top. It's drawn the 6, it's got 54, it's well in at the weights, it's got Paul on board, he's in great form. He's riding, do you find yourself, now Priscilla you ride, and Larry, you know, you've been around for many years, like even your hairline's starting to show it. Now, I've got an excuse, I shave it, it's all right. I'm better looking. Now, I even forgot what I was going to say, but what we were talking about here is number of horses, when you ride them, and do you find that horses that with light weights and horses with heavier weights, do you notice the difference in the last 100, Larry?
You can do, especially now because the top weight has to carry 59 kilos and obviously the bottom weight's 54, and you get some horses that aren't big strong horses. You can feel them just getting weighed down by the 59, and that's been the trend lately, has been putting the apprentices on. So where horses I've been riding and won on them, and all of a sudden they go to 59, you lose your ride because they put apprentice on to claim a couple kilos off.
Now, Priscilla, do you notice much of the difference?
Yeah, well, that's unfortunate for you, Larry, but lucky when I'm back, I've got 3 kilos up my sleeve. But you do, like what Larry was saying, some horses carry weight better than others, and that's why some trainers elect to take the claim with the toppies. Yeah,
no, I generally find that with weight is big, weight is massive. I really great believer horses. I've noticed, especially over the last 3-4 weeks, horses down in the weights have been winning a lot more than usual this time of the year with the apprentice claims and all the rest of it. So I've got number 14, Royal Shout, on top. From your round, Larry, run with me. As you stated, Trevor Whittington is a very astute trainer. He trains down at the Gold Coast, and he's very astute. And I didn't know he was from New Zealand, but all the same, he's a very good trainer. And I've put you in for second there. I put Priscilla's Best Bet, I'm Cool, in for third. This horse is very... it's on the up. There's no doubt about that. This horse has had 4 starts for 3 wins, 1 second. Very promising type, and will be very hard to beat. It's drawn the 2, 54.5. Michael Carl, very definitely, and number 7, Mington, in as well. So I like 14, 12, 7 and 3. What I was going to allude to before, Priscilla, is Jockey's in form. Now, when you're in form and you're riding well, do you carry a set of confidence into you going to the race? And do you think the horse feels it?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, when you're riding winners, you could get on anything and they're going to run a hole. And it's just the luck of the game, really. You're riding winners, everything's going well, you have a bit of a slow patch, and it probably wouldn't matter what you're on. It's just the timing and everything clicks and goes. But like you said, with jockeys and trainers in form, is there any... better trainer and jockey in form than Mick Cull and Des Foster?
Yeah, I don't think so. 1.6. Larry, more experience. Again, hairline shows it. You've been around, you've had many ups and downs in this industry. You know, lots of highs, lots of lows, and lots of in-betweens. Yourself, when you're riding and you're in that frame of mind and everything's flying, and do you find the horse picks up on it?
Well, look, everything seems to happen, and like you'll be going for a gap when you're riding a lot of winners and you're in form and your confidence is high. You'll be going for a gap, and the gap will just open up in front of you. When you're having no luck, that gap will close in front of you. It's just like everything happens when you're going well. Everything falls into place. And being a jockey, it's a big confidence thing. When you're confident, you ride well. When you're not having much luck, obviously your confidence down a little bit, and things don't tend to go as well.
Yeah. Well, that brings us to another end of Racing in Queensland's beat. Great having you on board. And remember, you can always go to tatsbet.com for the best odds in town. And there's also the question of the week. Who is the sire of our famous horse, Feeling Ready? Very hard one there. And also you can follow us on Twitter at Horse Racing Queensland, and also Facebook Racing in Queensland. And also send that email to info@Racing in Queensland for the answer of question of the week. And you can follow Larry on Facebook. You're on Facebook, Larry?
I'm on Facebook.
And Priscilla, are you?
Yes, I'm on Facebook.
Yeah, whatever that is, Priscilla, Larry, on Facebook. Anyway, that's great. So we're going to leave you with the fine cotton dash for cash, and it's been great having you, and join us in 2 weeks. Have a great Christmas and a great New Year, and we look forward to being back in January, on January 11th for the Magic Millions. And bye for now.
Get into all the betting action with TatsBet. Go online. Call 13 19 39. Use the smartphone app or visit your local TAB. TatsBet. More action, more places.